What's up, everybody? This week on the Unspecial Filmtalk, we're talking about 1917. It's me, Karim, and
Viktor.
Yes, so 1917 released. I think it was released in December in the US and in January here in Sweden. It had a budget of $100 million. $100 million.
That's more than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, and you can actually see why they had that much money and where it went. It was crazy. It has already grossed over 200 million worldwide. And it got nominated for the dude, this is amazing. Like, this is incredible. Got nominated for 10 Oscars. Damn. 10 Oscars. And I'm gonna read you every single nominee. Best Motion Picture. Best Directing. Original Screenplay. Cinematography. Makeup and Hair. Production Design. Original Score. Music. Visual Effects. Mixing. And Sound Editing. 10.
Dude.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It was directed by Sam Mendes, who also directed Skyfall, and was written by Sam Mendes and Christy Wilson. It's about two soldiers that get a letter, and they have the mission to take it to Colonel McKenzie. And the message said to stop an attack that was a trap between so they are in the British army, and they were gonna attack the Germans, but the Germans had a trap set up for them, and if they went through with that attack, like 1,600 people would die. I think it was
1,600.
Yeah, something like that. So time is of the essence, and it's really stressed out. And that there's one thing that grabbed the attention of everyone. Anyone who's like film.
You start to notice it if you're not into film.
Yeah,
you already start to notice it like
exactly,
5 minutes into the movie.
And you probably know this before you've watched the film, if you are interested in film. That is that this film is trying to make a one-take film, which means that the whole movie feels like one single take.
Do you know how many cuts there are?
I don't know exactly how many.
I think there are 10.
10? I think there's more.
Maybe there are more.
Maybe
I'm just too frugal.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Because that thing, like, there's one very obvious, which we're gonna mention.
Should we? Okay.
So it's trying to do this one take thing, which been done by Hitchcock in what was the name? Oh, god damn it! Hitchcock made a film that was trying to do like a one take. It was really cool. And then it was all like the very popular like example of it, Birdman.
Yes.
Have you watched it?
No.
I haven't seen it.
I have read more about it. Than I've actually seen the trailer.
Too. So I haven't seen the whole of it, but I saw the first half 2 days ago, and it was incredible.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoa! How do they do those things? I don't know.
I don't know if it's a good example for these types of one take tries, but the church scene from Kingsman 1. It is, so if you watch that scene, it is, for example, when he takes a gun, he just goes on a killing spree in a church in that movie. And it looks at first glance that it's like one take, and everybody's just coordination is just insane.
Like the ending?
No, it's when, Colin North, no, what's his name?
Oh,
he was in this movie.
Yeah.
But right before he gets killed. Yeah. Spoilers, sorry.
Spoilers.
From a 3-year-old movie or something. But, the church scene when he just kills everybody. So the thing about that one is when they cut in that scene, he puts, for example, his gun almost right next to the camera and shoots, and becomes like this vibration.
Whoa.
And in that vibration is a cut. And I believe there's some sort of same technique here.
Yeah, I think
just
they
that
do
Kingsman
it a lot
did it
here.
in one scene, they did it in the entire movie. So
I will tell you how, like, what I think they've done it, and when did I notice, like, it was very clear that they have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it was very, very, very clear. Now I'm just gonna throw this away because I don't need it anymore. So the one, like, obvious one was...
I think it's when they went down in the bunker.
Yeah,
Because the screen went entirely black. So in that span of dark screen, black screen, you can just easily do a cut.
And there's also one where he gets shot and, like, falls behind. That was like a long
the
black
time
pause.
skip.
Yeah. That one as well. And when he jumps into the river, is also one.
Yeah.
But I think they did it, like, while watching the movie, I think it was bad for me to be focused so much in how they did it, like thinking about, oh, is this a crane shot or is this Steadicam? When is it going to, like, a crane? When is it unsteady? When do they cut? But I think they made a lot of cuts while going, like, behind something. Because if you say, like, I'm filming you and I go behind this microphone stand, then I can mask out.
I think they did it when they were walking right before the bunker.
Dude, it was everywhere.
Yes.
They did it tons and tons and tons of times.
Because I remember when Blake and Schofield were walking over the field in the beginning, and the camera went past a rock, and then immediately after was, they panned, like, next to the rock, and then we see them walking there, behind the rock. I think that was also a place where they masked out the rock, but they shot the same angle to get the exact same.
Yeah. So
picture,
I think they've done it, like, tons and tons of times with stuff like that.
Yes.
Because they were all the time passing like things, and, like, the camera going in front of things. But my problem with one of them, or, like, with one thing, because, like, when you're trying to take this one take thing, even if you don't cut, you need to make it believable that everything that happens is in the span of this movie.
Yes.
The length of the movie is basically the length of the entire event.
Except for when they do one time skip when he falls, like,
exactly.
faints. And that's the only time when it's not just full on action. Everything else, as you say, is just
full on
one
action.
event.
Yeah. My problem was, the scene where he, like, escapes this crazy place and jumps into the river.
Yes.
That's supposed to be, like, one event, right? But in 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In 5 minutes, it goes from completely dark to morning. And not just like, oh, it's starting to become brighter. No, like, bright. Like, 10 a.m.
He must have,
bright.
like, fainted or something.
I don't know.
No.
That's not possible, because he went through a lot of shit, and then...
Yeah, that's true.
If he fell down the waterfall, and directly after he found this, like,
But it
lodge.
could be that right when he was running out of the abandoned town, the blowed up town, it was starting to get brighter. But since it was, like, a bunch of fires and stuff like that...
but I went back and looked, like, when was it starting to get bright.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding. In 5 minutes, it went from completely dark to starting to be a little bit more, like, I don't know. For me, that's not possible. It wasn't something, like, that took my attention. It did take my attention, and I was like, wait, now it's bright. It was just dark. Did he faint? No, I don't think so, because the water seems very cold, and if he faints, he's gonna die. Yeah. I don't think he fainted,
But that's an interesting thing that you mentioned before, that you were so focused on when were they changing to a crane, when did they change to different camera techniques and stuff like that. So I thought that in the beginning, so I wrote down on my little cheat sheet here that the entry the intro shot was when they were just a field, and then we see first Blake, and then we see Schofield, and then we see Sergeant.
Yeah.
Some sergeant, not Colonel Mackenzie, but some sergeant coming up and saying, "Oh, Blake, take one with you, and we're gonna have a mission or something."
We're gonna have a mission.
Yeah, and they just walk towards the camera, and from this peaceful field, we come into this trench. And I thought, this is an amazing. How did they do it? No. And obviously, that was just the beginning.
Yeah. That was just the beginning,
Yeah, so immediately when I started to feel, oh, it's gonna be like this the entire movie, I'm just gonna, let it just take me. I will not focus so much on...
The gods of the Steadicam.
Dude.
They are the best, like, Jesus
Have you seen
Christ.
the behind the scenes?
I saw some.
Of when Schofield is running across the field in the end.
Yeah, I might have seen, like, just a small clip of it or something.
So they had the camera on a big, like, fishing pole of a car.
Yeah.
How is
That's a crane on a car.
How is that a steady cam? It was kind of steady,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think, well...
It looks like we're just wobbling like this.
It's some, like, Steadicam in the like, robotic arm. And some it's supposed to be a bit shaky.
Yes.
And some
since
in
it's like the feeling of running.
But some of it is also in like the cutting. When you cut, you can put in like there's tons of plugins and effects that you can put on a clip to make it less wiggly.
You can do it in After Effects.
Yeah, you can do it in Premiere as well. Warp stabilizer, it's called. Everybody use it. It's really good if you have like 4K video, and you
crop in.
Yeah, if you're gonna just use it at 1080, then you can put the warp on and tell the warp that it can like crop, that it can crop the image to make it stable, because it will be like it will go into the picture and like do stuff like this. To remove the shake in the picture.
To keep the focus point so stable as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So you will have this image in the middle that will be stable.
Have you seen that with the phone? Like phone recordings? Because when you're filming with a phone, you're not stable at all. You're going all places.
Yeah, there's a lot of cameras that...
So there's some accidents or some incidents online when some incident or something... and when it's usually one person, the person is just like stable all the time. You can see motion blur even though the picture is still. And since it's like just a long format, it's not like, widescreen. It goes like this, because the cameraman is just going all places with the phone.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but with 4K, you have so much space all around. So
exactly.
you don't notice it because it's outside.
And if you're trying to be stable and you put it like... The thing is, I use a GH5, a Panasonic GH5, and it has like a really good sensor stabilizing. And I can film stuff just handheld. And it looks really stable, So if you're really trying and you have this like good ninja walk, it's called ninja walk, like when you try to be as stable as... And you try to be as stable as possible. If you're trying to do that and you actually are trying... When you put it in like you put a warp stabilizer on it, it will look really good. And like another thing to think about is that people that watch movies, if it's not like super shaky,
they won't notice it.
Yeah, they won't notice it, and they're really forgiving. Like it's just like focus on the story, focus on the music, and if it looks good, it looks good, and everybody's happy.
Which is why in some action scenes, for example, I think Mission Impossible does that a lot. I might be wrong, but for example, movies like Mission Impossible, when they're just fist fighting, the camera, there's a lot of cuts, there's a lot of shakiness, so the person
to make it like look more impactful.
Exactly, so you can't really look at the details, you just look at the motion of the characters.
I know some secrets, I know some stuff that they do.
So that's why...
So first of all, they use long lenses, so they make like say if you're using an 85mm, right, and you're standing like at the door, at the door over there, you will if someone is filming you from there, right, it will look like there's really small space between us because the picture is so compressed. But if you have like a 12 millimeter, and someone is standing right here, like just behind me, and filming you, like you will see everything between us. So if I'm punching you, right, and someone is filming from there, it will look like my hand hit your face. But then, it like if you filmed it from here, you will see that I just...
Yeah, so there's so much about camera techniques just to hide what's actually happening, to create the illusion of what's they're trying to make happen.
You know, that's super interesting that you talked about that, because I watched like an analyzing video of what's his name? God damn it! What's his name? Have you? Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Like, because he's a director, right?
The action comedy.
Yeah, the action / comedy, and you know his stuff, like every stunt he does, and all the like punching and stuff is super real. Yeah. There is no...
Have you seen?
There is no fast cutting. There is no nothing like that. You know, he directs his own movies.
I know.
And like in his directing style is like, if it's a fight, show everything. You know, from one angle. Like, don't cut between to make it look aggressive, you know.
Try to make it actually real-ish. But did you know that Jackie Chan is like extremely, and I don't mean just big, I mean like extremely big in China.
Probably.
Because there's a lot of...
he's probably like Bruce Lee, you know.
Yeah, but imagine like this. So he's known in the Westworld, or like all across the world. He's known as this guy that is like, he knows karate, kung fu. I don't really know. He knows camp sports.
Well, fighting, like
martial arts.
Yeah.
He knows martial arts.
Fighting sports.
He's an actor, and he's mostly in funny action comedies. For example, Rush Hour, which is one thing I want to mention, is that behind the scenes of Rush Hour, it's just a bunch of bloopers, you know, when they're laughing or something weird is happening. A lot of the times, for example, is when Jackie Chan, this one scene when he flips a glass table. And it's fake glass, of course, the ones that doesn't really cut, and it breaks super easily, and you can smash it in someone's head. But he flings that with his feet across the room. And there's they take it so many times to make it look real and not cutting in mid action or something. And he just flings it into his face and stuff like that.
He did.
Yeah, and he just like kept going and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like he almost died like 4 times, bro.
Probably more.
No, he did. Like once he was doing this stunt in like one of his earliest films, and he jumps on this tree, right? And he's like, the tree branch is gonna catch him. The tree branch breaks. He falls like 5 meters. Okay, and he hits his head on a rock. I'm not kidding. He like a bit of his skull broke and went into his brain.
Like pierced his brain.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he didn't die. Everything that happened from that, like the consequence of that, was like he lost a bit of hearing. Dude, he keeps on going. It's crazy.
But he's just, you know, in China, he's, what I've heard and like what I've read about, he's like almost a messiah of like everything. Like he directs movies. He's just, you know, imagine if Michael Jackson was like one of the best actors and the pop king he was. Yeah. You know, and he was just, you know, walking down the street. People will almost like bow to him. That's Jackie Chan in China, pretty much. Yeah. So there was something about like Jack Black being there, and Jackie Chan voice acted some character, the monkey in Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I believe so. And like nobody cared about Jack Black. Everyone was just focused on Jackie Chan. Like, are you in this movie? Are you in? You know.
Yeah.
Or something like that. A little bit off topic, but anyways. Camera movements in this movie.
Camera movements in the movie. But like one thing that actually annoyed me was when he jumped into the river. because it looked super fake.
Yeah.
And I
It looked
understand.
like he had some sort of platform that he could jump up to.
No, not that. Like
Or-
the actual
like-
movement into the water
Oh, okay.
when he was falling.
Oh
The
yeah,
fall
waterfall. Yeah,
looked-
that's true.
Looked really bad. Not the waterfall.
No, but when he
When he jumped into the water.
but that was his. I believe they just made a 3D
Yeah, probably,
model
but
stunt character and just
it looked really bad, and I was
Yeah.
like, god damn it! Like everything else is beautiful. A lot of scene, like if you just pause it, it looks like a painting, and then you got this, like god damn it.
But so I want to go back to that. What you mentioned before, you were focused on the one takes and when they cut and stuff like that. I just immediately dropped that because I know I want to focus on other things. The thing that I'm most amazed about this entire movie is first how all of the characters are being directed, being like, now you go, and then probably they go past the characters with like a fallen soldier or something, just to make the timing right. The cameraman knows to like tilt down on that thing. You know, all of those small things. Everyone being directed. I believe the director had a lot of assistants just standing above the bunkers or the trenches,
Probably, yeah.
like pointing, like now you go,
Yeah,
or something like that. Because it's impossible that the director did everything of that.
They probably had like
He must have had.
tempos and like they have rehearsed it and they know
if they-
rhythms, or like someone like no
Exactly.
because they after sync a lot of like
Yeah.
a lot of running and stuff like that.
They
is,
must have rehearsed like
insane, yeah.
probably 3 days per setting or something. It must have been insane.
They rehearsed 6 months
Yeah.
before even building the set.
Okay, that's insane.
6 months.
Okay, and that was the second thing I want to say. The scenery.
Crazy.
Jesus Christ. Everything that they showed had some importance. Like, for example, when they walk in the trenches in the beginning, and I think there's some frame you see, like in the far, far, far right or something like that, you see some barbed wire on the battlefield. And you're thinking, it's just, scenery, it's gonna be in the background. And they actually walk through this barbed wire, and just everything had a purpose on screen, since they needed to walk through this path.
Yeah, and
It was crazy.
that
Dude,
path,
the scenery.
that path, over a mile long, an English mile, like an American
Yeah.
mile. So like, what is it? Like 2.5 kilometers.
That's our way.
They dug that.
Dude, that's this from here to school.
Yeah. No, less, but yeah. No, yeah. Okay.
Roughly the same.
Roughly the same. That's crazy.
And they did.
It takes 35 minutes to walk from here to school.
And they did it with a camera setup. They did it with everything. Just
Crazy, dude.
imagine just taking 2 steps outside, and everything just needs to be on point.
Dude,
you need to be at that point at this time.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And I remember.
And the stuff where like bombs is going off and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
dude.
And you need to get it like almost from the first time. I don't know how many tries they have, but it's so much money going into every single one of those like bombs and stuff like that. It's you need to it's crazy.
So there was one time, I believe, right when they get the mission, and Blake is just so focused on delivering this letter, since it's also his brother is in the same
He's over there,
in
yeah.
the same platoon, I believe, or in the same squad. So he just walks fast, and there's a bunch of soldiers getting behind or getting in the middle of him and Schofield. And I thought, did we just lose Schofield or something happened? And then we see him when Blake like makes one little turn or something. We see Schofield just hauling ass. not like the fastest he can, but we see that he just like increasing his pace just to get in the same area he's supposed to be in. I don't know if that was supposed to be him being blocked off this big crowd of soldiers or something, because Blake was just like past it. Maybe it was planned that he was supposed to show that Blake was just so focused that he just walked, and Schofield, got wait on me, you know.
It was. I think it
But
was that.
I was kind of scared that are they gonna mess up? Even though
I think it was that. Plus that, if you see like his character arc, Schofield in the beginning, he was like, "Oh, why did you choose me? Like, oh, this is like terrible. Like, oh, why do we need to do this and blah blah blah." And that's why he was like, you know, he was behind and Blake was like walking really fast. And I love that character arc, because in the ending you see him like, oh, this is like the thing of my life. I need to get there in any second right now.
I believe that happened either when he got saved in the trench cave tunnel, whatever it was, in the barracks trench, when he was saved by Blake, or when when
that
Blake,
was crazy.
or when Blake died. How did they do that in the cave scene? Like the cave caved in, and also, okay,
I don't know.
Okay,
there's some good shit.
There's so much thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but while we're still on the characters, I thought in the beginning that Blake was this supposedly like main character, because it was his brother. He got the letter. Schofield is like this, not assistant, but like his best friend, or like his closest friend in the squad or something. And I realized that Schofield just got, I don't know, he just got small injured places, like stuff happened to him all the time. For example, he accidentally grabs barbed wire. He starts to bleed in his hand a little bit, getting a scar or something. And then he sits in a trench to just hide from German fire, like German, if there were any Germans. And then he get pushed by Blake that also jumps into the trench, and he, with his injured hand, just pierces through a dead body, and immediately like thinks he's gonna get infected. He tries to wash it off, and meanwhile nothing happens to Blake.
Yeah.
So I thought first that this was like a representation of each. That Blake was this, you know, typical main character that's nothing really happened to them except for like the final battle or something like that. Meanwhile, Schofield was this realistic character of this could easily happen in Second World War. But then I got like shocked
I think
when Blake died.
I think it's like the opposite.
Okay.
It shows that, you know, Blake is like walking through like, oh, nothing is gonna happen, or like he thinks that nothing is gonna happen, like war, we can get through this, you know.
Okay.
And Schofield is the realistic one, because everything keep happening to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Schofield was the one getting injured.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
I maybe mixed up the name. But I mean, like the Blake was, you know, just powering through, nothing happened to him. When Schofield got blasted and he was just laying in a pile of rubble, he was like, "Get up, soldier!" and like almost carried him out. And I thought, he's just gonna be this main character-ish character.
Yeah.
And then he just get like killed. And I immediately thought, is this the half point of the movie? I thought he was the main character.
I was like, why
What
did
am
they
I
help him?
What am I supposed to expect right now?
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, no, sitting like this. Like, what's gonna happen? And then Schofield just turned badass. You know?
Yeah.
He
So
was like
I think-
becoming a mute. He just did his thing. He was just running from German soldiers.
Okay, so two things. First, I think the barbed wire and the like hand was like a setup to use his water before you know, getting to the milk and taking the milk. That was a setup for the scene with the baby. You know,
that's also a thing that, I mean, everything had an importance.
Yeah.
The barbed wire was important.
Exactly.
Because that was the start of a chain domino reaction that eventually led to giving milk to the like baby.
Yeah. So I think Blake's death was to get us more engaged into the story and to tell us like this is more important now, and to give us also sympathy for like, oh, he did a bad mistake. Oh, you think war is so bad? You think that war is so bad that you're injuring someone else, you know, a human being. But then if you don't, that what happens to you, right? Because Blake was too nice. Yes. And it might be a presentation of, oh, the world is not fair, right? People that are nice like don't live through. And I think that, like, you know, the thing with that, it's making us more invested in the mission, But I think I had a small problem with that. I didn't like fully believe that the Germans was setting this up, in the beginning, because they made us a bit unsure if they were like putting like a heavier weight on that this is a trap. They need to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was a bit like back and forth. Was this a trap? Is it not? What is the trap?
I have one thing about that German soldier. So I'm not super keen to Second World War.
I'm not super Nazi, but
but there's a lot of, I think Netflix or some big corporation or something had a documentary of how German soldiers were captured by British people, and they just like sort of became comrades or something. Neither of them wanted to fight. They just realized we're all human, and then ended up.
But did you know that the German army was on meth?
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
So it shows like, and that documentary really shows that like, even if like one is evil, one is bad, like good, it doesn't even matter. Like the soldiers was just soldiers. They
are human beings.
Yeah. Yes, and most of the time, not all the time, but there were incidents where they were just sparing the other soldier, either took care of them or just letting them go, something. So I thought them saving the pilot was not too nice. I thought that was just being human, which was a thing that sometimes happened in Second World War. Pilots, at least in World War One, had a, like, I don't know if it's an unwritten rule or like some pilot code or something. And that is when I learned this from my pilot crazy friend, Simba. Shout out to Simba.
Shout out to Simba.
Simba. He said that when a plane gets shot down, I believe it was more in World War One, not so in Second World War, maybe, I don't know. That, for example, German, British guy, they like blah, 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 shoot each other, and either the British guy like jumps out of the plane with a parachute, or the German guy. As soon as they are just out of the battle, or like out of the sky technically without a plane, they are spared. No one just like tries to shoot down the parachute or anything.
Okay.
They're like, when he's in a parachute, he's dead, even though he will survive. So I thought like
interesting.
So I thought like the pilot would have some sort of, sympathy, not sympathy, but like some sort of remorse. But he immediately just like grabbed the knife and stabbed him.
That's the problem with like making film. You need to like give sympathy for like one part. Like why are we cheering for the British?
Yes, and I'm not saying that he got saved by them, he shouldn't have killed them. It's not. I'm not saying that to everyone, but I'm not saying that everyone acted that way. But I think that pilot was acting that a tiny bit more. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. But also, his legs was just burnt up. He was just a cripple. And I thought like his thought might have been, I want to take one out with me.
I think
so,
that
I don't know,
might be like, I think they want to give the impression that these are bad people, We're not going to show a lot of Germans, but when we're going to show them, they're going to be trying to kill British people.
Yeah.
And it's like dehumanizing, to those. Which is like
so this was more of a British...
which is the problem with war. And in movies you need to give, like, you can't have a...
There needs to be a protagonist and an antagonist.
Yeah, and in this case, the protagonist is British army, and the antagonist is the German army.
Yeah. So my most pet peeve with that scene is like, if it was real life, probably the German guy wouldn't have just grabbed the knife and attacked the guy who just saved his life.
Yeah, but I think
but
you
also
could be more safe and just remove the knife and all weapons that he has on him.
Yes.
Because he's the enemy still. Like,
but also that could very well happen. I mean, so it just felt like they really wanted to criminalize the German soldiers, which, I mean...
But also,
like, it's a war movie.
But I also feel like the death of Blake was like gave to the film,
Yeah, I think that made a very much like more threat to the German. Like they made Germans look so more intimidating. Imagine if Blake got stabbed and he survived. Then we think, okay, Germans attack, but they are like kind of like stormtroopers that never finish the job or they never hit or something. But they actually made like one enemy soldier so frightening. For example, a crippled pilot that's almost burning to death just grabs a knife and just stabs the savior, you know. He's just thirsty.
I don't think he was crippled.
I mean, it looked like his leg was just like caving in when they pulled him.
Yeah,
it might just have been me.
I don't think he was crippled.
Anyways,
but
and also with the same guy that I don't know if he got shot by Schofield right before when he faints. It looked like the German soldier was injured against the wall.
He was injured, but they shot each other.
Exactly. And even though they shot each other, they both got the same repercussions. Schofield survived, and maybe the German soldier died, but still. Even though he was injured, he also did like a lot of damage on Schofield.
Yeah, it's not like he was the hero of the film and he
he was a
he didn't get injured.
It felt so much more scary just seeing two German soldiers. While in a war movie we see like a tank just rowing over people, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Here was just one German soldier versus one British.
Oh my God, Milla! I think the Germany is coming outside of you.
This movie.
It's coming from the inside. No. Oh, Grandpa Miller is very angry now, huh?
No, I felt it was very. It made the story or like the movie more intimidating.
Yeah.
Just like he could die from almost any soldier, just like one lucky shot. Because he got one lucky shot, you know.
And
instead of him just, you know, going all Terminator and just shooting everyone, you know.
Exactly. Like he didn't like hit his shots from the first. Like he lost his weapon, everything. Like it was like.
Yeah. And also when
it was very real to him, you know.
Yeah, and when he returned fire, he did not like shoot a straight line of bullets. It was like there.
Which is like realistic.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something.
So the movie like felt real.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It felt real because they took the one take.
Yeah.
They went the one take way.
It was amazing.
And the director wanted it to be that way just because of that feel. For you to get that feel.
Imagine the same thing. The one take.
Imagine Dunkirk in one take.
Imagine just like the same movie. They walking all these trenches and everything. But just that Schofield just like grabs a machine gun or something, just like hauling down enemy soldiers. He runs up to a tank, like grabs a grenade, drop it down the hatch, closes the hatch, and just runs away.
That's not the story. That's not him, you know.
Exactly, that's not real.
But okay,
but this felt
so let's
real.
talk about that, because like I don't know if you're gonna be with me on this, but so. Like, I like the idea of the one take, okay? I like it. It's nice. It's like, it's interesting for me as a filmmaker, you know?
Yeah.
For us, it's interesting that they put all of this and it looks like super complicated and everything. But
does it work as a movie? Like a story perspective?
Well, of course it worked. People like it, okay? It worked. I saw the movie, I understood the story and everything.
Yeah.
But is it better than the endless possibilities of cutting?
Yes. So
that's the thing. Because I felt like this. You know, I love Dunkirk. You have seen it?
No.
God damn it.
I
have it on Blu-ray. We can watch it.
Yes.
Very nice. It's super good, and it's super intense, and I think it has to do with Christopher Nolan's way of like the what is it called? Like he cuts between stuff happening in different times. Like that way of going back and forth with different stories in the same story, going back and forth between this and this and this and this. It made it much more intense.
Like the cross-cutting.
Yeah, cross-cutting. Yeah, thank you. I think that made the movie super good. And like when you have this, I think of filmmaking and like using the camera and stuff like that, and choosing the angle, choosing which angle you're gonna shoot and stuff like that, as like you're opening this toolbox, right? And you have all these things you can use, right? And if you use it correctly and you can mix up and like, oh, I know that if I use this and I use this and I use this, I will get this feeling, right? And I know exactly what I want to show and how the actors are gonna be and stuff like that. It's like you have much more to do, like very, very complicated feelings to get them out, right? But then you have the one take and you have like, okay, I'm gonna take this tool and I'm gonna only use like this big tool that can like.
So you think it's a more of a challenge to the director?
Yeah, of course, it's a challenge, and it's super cool to see like how they used the angles, and they went far and they went back and they went through the barbs and they went up a bit, and you know all of this. But it feels like maybe we could have felt more. Maybe not, but maybe if you cut in a way and you had this that you don't need to put in all your story in 2 hours, because it doesn't really feel like 2 hours in the movie, because that's more than 24 hours, I think. You know,
I think
maybe
it's
less.
Roughly 24 hours.
Yeah, maybe less. But if you want to make it feel like it's all in one, but then it becomes morning in 5 minutes, you know, stuff like that doesn't make sense. No. Like I know that you think that this is really cool, and like, okay, this Birdman does it so well. Yeah. Cuz they show you that it's in different takes. They show you that it's like there's time have passed. Yes. But they also do these cool, you know, transitions.
Yes. These so cool they have, time skip transitions.
Yeah. So they have like they hide the cuts. Yeah. But it's also, you understand that time have passed, which is really cool. So yeah. So do you agree? What do you think?
I think if they actually started to cutting and stuff, if they wanted to make it a full feature movie, like a long length movie, they needed to add more dialogue, more small incidents. For example, like maybe they found a group of injured soldiers and they don't know what to do with them, and their sergeant comes like, you have to kill them, or something like that. I think there would be more just random incidents that are like just there to fill up time, or like give a more special feeling about the war. But since it was just so, it felt so raw, even though it was fiction, it was so raw. And that's the thing I liked about having the one shot. We didn't have all of these cool stories. We didn't have all these small things that happened in war. We just had, they walked through a war field and they were crawling. I mean, they crawled for like 2-3 minutes or something, just like, and then up and then like crawled and you know. If it was just cutting, they would be probably just cutting to they passing through the barbed wire. Then maybe cut to them like, oh, I found the bunker or something. So,
well, I don't think you can like you can.
No.
Yeah, but I understand what you mean.
Have that. I imagine the movie would look more like that if it was either more cut, or if they made it shorter, or like if they had the same length but added more stuff. So I feel like in this scenario, I felt so much more intrigued and so much more caught in the movie that was just one take, because it felt like I was there, you know. And I guess that's one of the.
Have you played Last of Us?
Yes.
Did you get that feeling? Did you get like a Last of Us feeling from the film?
Yes, a bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think like it's always in movement. The camera is always in movement. You're in there. You're like in real time with them, right? I think that gives a lot to the film. But there is also like endless possibilities with color. Like, of course, like I don't wish that they have done this film in any other way, because it works exactly the way it does. I think just it's like an interesting conversation to have about like. I think there's like a lot of possibilities to do a short film in this way, where like there's a, you know, in the beginning you jump in the action. You jump into the action. No backstory, no nothing. There's someone standing there, and you see fire in the background, and they're scared, they're bloody, you know, stuff. What's going on? And you follow them, like trying to escape or whatever, right? You can do it in a short film version, but like if you had the chance to do, because I felt that after like 5-10 minutes before the intensity of the film like built up, I was tired of not getting a cut.
I can see that, yeah.
You know, and it might be just us like really into the cuts and always expecting a cut to come.
I got a bit irritated by when they just walked in the trench talking in the beginning, when they were they were just talking about, oh, soon we're gonna run across the field.
Yeah, there was no suspense.
Oh.
I think
I don't know. I felt like this movie, they just did it so well. It really just worked out. But I do see where you come from.
I don't want to be like mean and say like,
oh, you don't want to be mean. Oh, you're like the most nicest film critic reviewer ever.
I don't want to be mean, but it was like, did this even happen, bro? No. Cause it's very cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong.
But that's also the problem.
It's very cool, but like,
which point is it leaning most to? Is it a good movie, or it's just like a cool movie?
Yeah, is the movie
balance?
Did we make the movie just to be able to do it?
Exactly.
You know, are we going back to a film as an attraction? Ooh.
Or was it like a bet? You can't do a one-take movie. Oh, hell, I can. You know?
Yeah, because like, I understand that there's like this challenge, and there's this like, oh, this is perfect for the movie. Like, it might have, but was it? Because like, it needs to be like working all the way through.
Yes.
Or did it like lack? You know, was there a bit, an incident, a scene that would have been better if it wasn't this way?
One thing that kind of bothered me, I don't know if it's a big thing, but when Blake was carrying Schofield in the tunnel, there was like this small ravine in the tunnel, and I'm like, you know, he said, we need to jump, and they jumped over it, and then they just ran out of the tunnel. What was the purpose of that
ravine?
Not ravine, like that big crater hole or something, because it looked like it was made
just for that.
Just for them.
Like an Indiana Jones type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that kind of threw me off, though. Because
I liked that bit, because it was like, you need to trust me. Like, he doesn't see.
Yeah.
The guy that, like, I think they had to put in, for the story to work, for the script to work,
yes.
I think they had to put in things that made Schofield more attached to Blake.
Yes, but I think they could done it in a different way, because that felt so much. It felt like Indiana Jones-ish.
It felt a bit weird that they survived that.
Yes.
You know, everything falling.
Survive that is okay,
and
but
they
just,
are not
but
getting
just
hit of anything.
Yeah, but I think Schofield got hit, like he was buried alive.
Yeah, how does one survive?
I mean, it was just like, if they were just, you know, running through the cave, and instead of having that weird jump, it could be like Schofield like tripping or something and being like, just leave me or something.
Just leave me, bro.
Yeah,
No,
a bit cliche,
not.
but but it could be like, no, you have to keep fighting. We got a mission to do, or something like that. And Schofield would be like, oh yeah, okay, and I see where this guy's coming. No, something like that. But instead, it was just jump over this weird hole in these man-made caves that doesn't make any sense. What's its purpose if it was just not caving in? Were there because it caved in before? Was it a crack?
Yeah, like you don't get
I'm starting to get questions about this hole in a tunnel. I'm not supposed to have a question about this hole. It's just supposed to be a hinder, a block.
Yeah.
No, for the characters.
Yeah.
But it felt a bit out of place.
Yeah, that was like, I think we're being like very picky.
Of course.
Yeah, and we are.
I mean, if something bothers us, we.
Yeah, of course, and that's why like I'm saying like I don't want to be mean because like the movie's great. No, no
definitely.
clue about that, but it also had like some stuff that threw me off guard.
Yes.
That was like made me remember that this was a Hollywood film. You know. I don't think it's is it a Hollywood?
I don't think it's Hollywood because it's only British actors, and I don't know if Sam Mendes is American.
If you have 100 million, I think it's probably like.
I mean,
it's Universal, dude. Was it? WB.
I think
Warner Bros. No, Warner Bros. I think it's Warner Bros.
Maybe it's an American. I don't know.
It's Warner Bros.
I'm keen.
pretty sure, but that's not the thing. It you know the realism of Parasite. That kind of realism. It's pure in any way. Even the conversation, they don't feel forced. They don't feel like, oh, we're gonna have this Lieutenant Colonel or some say this thing in such a no, you're not getting in there. Yeah. There's no way you're getting in, stuff like that. Doesn't feel forced, and I know that it's super hard. I know it's like, but there's like this specific type of realism that I'm trying to put my finger on. I'm trying to understand, and I'm trying to like, I don't know. I really want to get inspired by, and it's the way Parasite almost is there, and it's the way like other films are also there.
Like well written characters that really interact with each other. That is so like well made that it doesn't feel forced in any way.
Yeah, exactly.
They just talk and you feel like that could actually be a conversation they would have if they existed, you know, and not be like, I am the hero. No. Like nobody talks like that.
But
do you mean something like that? Or?
By the way, okay, so it wasn't like that all the way.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like when Cucumber Batch was like, I know, Colonel Mackenzie, when he was like, I was hoping today would be a good day.
Yeah, that was a bit Hollywood.
No, he said, I believed that today would be a good day, but belief is a big mistake.
He talked like an old.
And
painting.
I was like, okay.
He talked like an old painting. It felt like you know, standing like this, being like, now that you have done your mission, now fuck off, you know.
But you know what I liked, and what I almost felt that he like, before it happened, I felt like, oh, it would be interesting if he said that. When he was like, am I dying? And he was like, yes. Not in a funny way, but that he was like real with him.
And he did.
And that is like, that goes on to confirm our little theory about like him. Schofield, right?
Schofield.
I think. He was the realistic one.
Yes.
Or he's based on he's the realistic character.
Yeah, he was the realistic character. But I believe when Blake died, he kind of received both roles.
Yeah.
But he became like this super soldier.
Yeah,
like,
and
he just, you know, he got shot. He woke up. He was in enemy territory. He ran from enemies. He found a random French girl. And then he runs from enemies again. He falls into the water. He survives. So then he became kind of unrealistic. But prior to that, he was the realistic character. You know, I feel like.
And I think also the.
But he was. Yeah, he got like kind of two roles, in a way. He kind of absorbed Blake.
And the way that Blake died.
Yeah.
Of him believing, because he the unrealistic.
The typical
No. It's like it's also confirming the thing we're talking about, that he like the unrealistic. He believed that this guy would be good, right? But like, and Schofield was like a bit hesitant when he was going, and he was like, get away from him or something, and he was like, no, get him water. He needs water. And you know,
if it would have been
it's confirming that what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That he's the unrealistic and.
If this was more like a fiction righted story, it could be like he saved his life and the German soldier like, I owe you my life, and then the German would like,
I will take you.
maybe like follow them, but then eventually when they stumble upon other Germans, he would be like, I will stab you from the back or something like that, you know. But since this was just to show there's no like, no one is safe in war.
But this is how you win.
If you show too much mercy, you will get.
This is how you win an Oscar. You make a war movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, so we have talked about some pet peeves, like the Indiana Jones cave and stuff like that, or at least a jump.
Have you seen Saving Private Ryan?
No. I'm not seeing that many movies. But one thing about this movie that first I wrote down that one thing that happened early on. I was like, how did they like plan that out and it worked out just perfectly? But then it got overdone by something else in the same thing. And I'm talking about the animals. Dude, did you even think about the animals?
Some animals.
First,
Cow.
they're walking through the first trench. And there's this guy with, I think he lost his eye, or like he's super injured, like everyone else. And he's sitting and holding his dog, like petting it.
Okay.
I think they say something to him, like, do you know where the...
Do you know the way?
Do you know pretty much, do you know the way? And he's like, keep walking in the trench. What the fuck, dude?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And the dog is, super calm, just looking around. And there's focus on the dog. The camera focus on dog, I think. And I'm thinking, like, they trained the dog, or at least, like, had a well-behaved dog to just sit there, be this soldier's pet, or something like that. And imagine it just, during the take or something, just hears something, just runs off. Then the entire take is done. Something like that. Then probably they just took away the dog as soon as it was out of frame.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that there was so much more cuts than what you think.
Probably,
That's
yes.
why they, like...
But they were so good at hiding it, so I just didn't
I think,
take
like, the longest take might have been, like, 1.5, 2 minutes.
Probably, yeah.
That's why, like, they can afford doing
Yes.
stuff like that, and the dog might bark.
But here comes the second thing. So I thought first, I wrote down, oh, the dog, how did they, like, plan these long takes with the dog and stuff like that. Then they get to the cave. This is my favorite part about the cave. The rats.
The rats.
Like, how do you train rats or like time rats to do stuff?
You wanna know the secret?
But right before.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing was there was this like I don't know, these iron bars or something, or like
Over the head, yeah.
Yeah, those like holding up the roof. And there's like a bit of a platform, and the rat they would say, oh, look at the rat, and it ran all across the room, and then in the end it just like hanged on to something and fell down or something. I believe that was the bomb or something like that. But the camera was so ready to follow the rat the exact same way. Did you think they trained the rat to run the exact path or something? Or yeah, it just blew my mind, because it doesn't look like it was something, oh, the rat ran, we just follow the rat. It was like they planned out the path.
Pretty sure it's CGI.
I'm stupid.
Pretty sure.
But it looked so real.
Yeah, I know, it looked super real, but that's the problem with, or not a problem, but CGI is like...
I didn't even think about that.
It looks super realistic now. So they just trained the actors to look at where they're...
I should not watch this movie 2 in the morning. But I just blew my mind.
Because you blew your own mind. No.
Maybe he holds rats and stuff.
It might not be rat, you know?
It's probably CGI, because they got award for, or like nominee for VFX and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So probably. But just, when I looked at the movie, I didn't even think about the CGI, which disproves. I just thought they were just trained rats or something. Yeah. Damn, I feel so stupid now.
No, it's totally like it makes sense. Like I was like, wow, cool, like, you know, and I loved the suspense of the rat falling, and like because they notice a Booby trap.
Booby trap.
Yeah. And they're like, they see the rat falls, and it start going into the booby trap, and they're like, fuck, it was like, that was perfect suspense, like a suspense act.
And that also felt real in itself. That they know that it's probably booby traps in an abandoned battle camp, or like in a trench.
Again, Blake goes in super comfortable, and Schofield is like
looking everywhere.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
I don't think this is good,
But yeah, it felt like if something is gonna detonate the mine, the soldiers are probably trained to look for stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But a rat just running into it, if it's heavy enough, probably.
You want some?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. But I really liked the scene with the baby and that French girl.
Did you know it was CGI?
The baby or the girl?
Damn, I feel so stupid.
How do you? But I think a lot.
Did you know the Schofield was CGI? Yeah, but what about the baby?
I like that human side that came out of Schofield, and it wasn't expected at all.
Yeah.
It
came pretty much out of right field.
Okay, and he could have just stayed there, over the night, but he kept going. It was it was not a comic relief, but was a relief of some kind from him running all over and just being about that. Now he sat down for a minute. It wasn't just about the war. It was about this girl and this baby.
Also the life being affected by war.
Exactly.
Not just families back home, but also the families that live
in the
war
zones. That neighborhood. Like how bad it is for the city that any war have passed by. We're not gonna. We have been just picking the tiniest of things.
Yeah, there's so much details in this movie.
Yeah,
since
definitely.
It's just so focused on the details. But if you want to talk about something big.
But I wanted to tell you
okay, sorry.
I wanted to tell you if you the dog is not a problem. Yeah. The problem is the extras. The extras are it's more working with people that are just there to run around and stuff like that in the background. It's harder than with
it's harder to make someone act natural. Act natural is super hard.
Yeah.
But dogs are not well behaved, so they just doing random things are expected.
But trained dogs are super friendly and super good at doing what they're supposed to do.
But do you understand what I mean? That if a dog just runs in the trench or something like that, we know that dogs are just wild in their nature, stuff like that.
But if a dog will see a camera and they're okay, it's not something. Just don't have a toy around,
Yeah. But imagine a backup, or what do you say, an extra on the set, being like a soldier, saying I'm just sit there and just be injured or something, and he stands like this, being ooh, or something like that, trying to just make a pose, him thinking it's normal, something like that.
But dude,
just that would just break the entire movie.
Yeah. And having 50, 200 extras on set, it's it's terrible. It's not fun because they sit around all day waiting for just oh, now you're gonna just run here. You need to if you stay here and think about this is war, whoa, that's scary and stuff. It's you sit around for a long time and then you feel you're not important. They feel like that, and then you have the extras that are trying to take more space.
Yeah, exactly. They want to be an actor.
They're trying to be an actor. And this is not your role. Don't try to overdo something because you're just gonna.
Yeah, you're almost gonna be a corpse in the background.
Yeah.
Just be lucky that your character is alive.
I would love to be an extra on that set. I would be
that's the thing with, for example, Star Wars. famous actors just want to be in Star Wars. They don't want to be a main actor. For example, Ed Sheeran, he was a Stormtrooper. He did not like want to have a I don't know if he had a line, probably had or something, I don't know. But he just like had his helmet on, he never took it off or anything, he was just like there. And the extras, you know, they want to have more screen time. If they can be like a couple of frames more in a movie, they probably just gonna be like, but if I stand over there,
yeah, exactly,
right next to when they stop and have a discussion, and I'm like, you know, fixing my gun or something, they're like, but there's not too much room. You have to like stand over there.
But it's a lot.
I think my character
of sitting
really
around,
needs it,
and like a lot of actors or extras that are trying to be actors, they are still like have an actor mentality, or maybe not like a fully grown actor mentality, but they want attention.
Exactly.
You know? I'm not saying actors just want attention.
No, but it's
like,
also their job.
Yeah, it's also their job being essential, like and having like 200 extras or like 300 or whatever they had. I think it's a lot harder than a fucking dog. I think dogs are really cute. They just sit on your lap and like they enjoy you. Like they're.
But that's also they can do whatever they want and it still works. They're a dog, you know.
But watching that film, okay, like yesterday when we filmed, my dude, when we filmed yesterday, it was like we're just doing this very small, like 2 meter walk. Yeah, you know, it's like on a what it's called, like
ladder.
Yeah, we're on a ladder. Like the camera's on a ladder. We're just like moving
this
2 meters to the girl standing, and it's like it's a one take short film.
The camera is on a skateboard looking train thing.
Yeah,
and you just roll it on the ladder.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names in English.
Same.
But so we're just this. We have on like a 50 millimeter, and we're shooting in like very shallow 1.5.
Yeah.
And so we have like B photo, which was dog, and I'm like the A photo, so I'm moving the camera, and at the same time I'm like panning upwards to match her, because we're going from a...
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because we're going from like a medium shot to a close-up, right?
Okay.
But not just that, because it's supposed to be in one take, and like the whole... And it's supposed to be 1 minute.
Damn.
Then this whole thing needs to be exactly 1 minute, okay? Not longer. 1 minute, and she says everything in the same tempo, and I go from here to here in 1 minute, so I need to hold that like very slow tempo, right?
And not like accidentally.
Yeah, and
stumble.
yeah, exactly, and not like have it need to be like super smooth all the way, and dog needs to like hold the focus.
Yeah.
And we had like I think 8 tries, because we had smoke.
Oh yeah, you didn't have that many tries.
Yeah, we had
would run out of smoke,
I think we had like 8 patrons or something of smoke.
Yeah.
So we had like, and every smoke is like lasting for 1 minute. So it's seriously 8 tries.
Yeah.
Just that, and like, cause you get like a bit frustrated, cause it's really hard when it was my first time doing like a shot like that. Okay, on my own with an FS7 and needing to pan. And like Cassandra was moving a bit like this and like this, and I'm like dead center on her, right? Because like oof, and I'm going from here to like seriously the picture, like the end frame is seriously like this on her, you know.
Yeah.
Watching that film, I was like, okay, we did nothing yesterday. It was like a very small thing, and that is so much more.
So I wanted to do a segue.
Yeah.
Because just that thing that you did, like, it takes a lot of energy, planning and stuff, and then you look like productions like this. Imagine when we get the more experience, and then in 2nd and 3rd grade we just do this, not on a whim, but like more advanced stuff.
Yeah. I really look forward the movie we're gonna do in fall.
Yes, it's our 2nd grade.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to be a first assistant director. Because I've been a director for a project now, and I think it's not my place to, because everyone, like, there's a lot of people that want to direct, so I'm just gonna take a step back and let someone else direct, might like do like write a script, and if someone is like wants to use it,
Yes.
they can use it, because I have some ideas and I wanna.
I want to try and direct, but I
Yeah.
don't know if I dare to direct. I never directed before, and I don't know if I dare to do it on the upcoming big film project.
Why not?
Probably like on a smaller thing first, which is why I want to do the short.
Yeah, we will do that before the big thing.
Yes.
But if you come to the big thing and you're in this team, and the team wants you to be the director, and you want to be the director,
Yeah.
then do it. Don't don't be afraid. But
Yes, now I have the time to do it.
but just know that you will need to plan a lot.
Yes.
Like you need to plan everything to the small, like the tiniest thing.
Like facial expressions and everything.
Yeah, you need to know everything, what's going on in the frame, and like looking back onto this project that we did, and like my way of directing and everything, I feel like I was maybe 5% planned.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to plan much more. There's so much I didn't think about.
I was director of camera. Oh, what do you say?
You were a photo.
A photo, yeah.
Yeah.
A photo, and I was like.
Or yeah, DOP.
DOP.
Director of photography.
Yeah, exactly. A photographer or something like that. And I like skimmed through the script, which I shouldn't have done. I got
don't say this out loud.
No, I got shit on for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, after the first day, I was like, okay, I need to go home and read. And I just read. And the second day, I was like, boom, I knew what I did, you know. So that's a big like lesson learned, and I'm very glad it happened now before later. It's almost like I want to imprint it in me, like read the script 16,000 times.
Yeah.
But there's a thing that I wanted to advance on, the thing about the extras.
Yeah.
You said that extras are like upcoming actors, or they want to become actors in some way. Most cases. So there's one extra that I had so much focus on. I guess it was lucky for him, or if maybe it was his job as an extra was to actually do it. But the guy that ran into Schofield in the last, action
Yeah.
scene.
Oof.
Dude, I wanted to talk about that scene at the beginning, but that's maybe good that we save it to now.
I was like afraid of him getting stabbed.
Dude, that was... Yeah, exactly. Everyone was just... when he was running through the trenches and everyone's sitting with their guns up. Imagine if he ran a bit up to the right in this steep hill and then almost tripped to the left. He would been impaled by one of those bayonets.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that was the only thing I knew from this movie, except that Colin North, I don't know, the guy from Kingsman, was in it, and a short trailer. It was when the car is on this crane arm that we talked about earlier.
And that's exactly that shot, yeah.
That scene, yeah. So I only knew that he was gonna be running there. But when I actually saw the entire scene, that he was a guy that just started it. Everyone was like, we need to wait for the signal, but he became the signal. And then we see...
No, I don't think he was the same, but go on. Sorry.
I got the feeling of that since he started running, everyone else was just like, okay, fuck it, yes, let's go. And then everybody started running, because it was right after he was starting to run on the battlefield, because he was faster. And then we see, one by one, if he was running like this, this was it was just like a wall in this direction, you know?
Yeah.
Like this, of soldiers just running past him, and then one person just knocks him down.
Well, he got hit twice, right?
Maybe twice.
He got knocked.
And then, since the car is just going with the camera, he needs to keep up with the pace of the camera. So he just hauls ass to be in the same distance he needs to be, and then he just continues. Imagine the cameraman, or the person in charge of the focus, of just keeping it there.
Oh, nice. You brought something up that I really wanted to...
Dude, imagine there, sitting on the car, sitting where you're sitting with the focus. Okay, he's roughly 3 meters away. And then someone just immediately just stops him. And he just... You need to be fast with the focus.
Yeah, but I think it was also planned.
Yes, that's the also thing. It has to be planned, because that was too good to be true-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It was CGI.
CGI. The whole movie, it wasn't real. The thing that I was gonna bring up is that I also thought a lot about like how shallow it was, like which aperture they filmed at, and I think it was between like 5 and 8, somewhere there.
5 and 8, okay.
Because it's like it's not really shallow, but you can get that shallow if you have like a lot of space behind the character, which is like when you get this open fields, you have like this shallow and like super back. So getting the focus right is not that hard.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think that like I think it's planned, but it's also to look natural, because if you're looking out, like you don't have, I think in normal life, like our eyes don't have this, it's not that shallow, you know, it's not that super shallow. If you're not like looking at something like super close, then when I'm looking at it, you're like out of focus. You know what I mean? But if I'm looking at you here, like it's almost like the background and you are both in focus, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think it was between somewhere there, so like the focus guy could like
He had some room
Yeah.
to... Yeah, okay.
and it would give them like it's lowering the risk percentage of them needing to take another take.
Yes.
Because of the focus. Like we filmed with 1.5.
Yeah.
You know, 1.5, it's like, oh
Yeah.
baby, like 1 millimeter, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know.
The lowest I've been with this too, with my camera. And I was trying to film some stuff, and I immediately just lost focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
Yeah, it's super hard, but like when you're up at 6, 7, 8, it's like it's not that hard. It's like you almost got it. Like it's a big field where you have your focus at, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that was like a smart move from them to go with that. Was it something else that you wanted to bring up?
May I look at the cheat sheet?
Yeah, sure. And while you're doing that, we're gonna take about their sponsors. This
Absolutely
meme girl, she gave us money to make this meme cup, and you can visit the site of meme girl grandmatakemebyass.com to buy yourself a mug.
So I had.
We're back from the sponsor.
I had one thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I had one thing written up. Everything else I wanted to talk about, I have talked about, or we have talked about. It was just one thing that I noticed. That, do you know when the first gun was shot? Maybe I'm wrong with this. Almost every episode I say this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But this is how I experienced it. The first gunshot that we heard or like experienced in this movie. Do you know roughly when it was?
Let me guess.
Because when I just heard or like saw it, I just wrote it down like, what? You know.
I would guess like when they shot the German guy from the airplane.
We don't hear the gunshots from the plane. We just...
No. When he stabbed Blake and he
Oh,
shot.
okay, that's true. That's the first gunshot.
Yeah.
I wrote it down when I noticed when he was trying to jump over the bridge. I was like,
oh, that was like the sound of it was so scary.
Yeah, exactly. That was the
Yeah.
first time I was like, oh, they really...
That's
now
true.
they're actually starting to shoot. But
you're
correct. I totally forgot that he shot the German
Yeah.
pilot. Yeah, true.
But one thing with the sound effect, like the sound editing of the shots, I really felt them like they were.
Yeah,
super,
the sound
like,
design.
It wasn't like a gun pew pew, you know. It was
No.
like, doosh.
But it felt like it was a punch.
Yeah.
It felt like it had so much...
It felt really
it
powerful.
was dangerous,
yeah,
you know.
It's super dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
But what do you think about the...
That's guns from. Now I want to go home and play like Battlefield 4. Like, oh, is it
No,
5?
I don't want to
5?
play Battlefield. I want to play like super...
No, it's Battlefield 5. I think I'm thinking of Battlefield.
Battlefield 1 is...
Battlefield 1. Sorry, yeah, I have it on PS4. It's really nice. Like even the campaign is really good.
But what do you think about that thing? That like, this is a war movie, but like roughly the first shot was around 50. I guess it was 50 minutes when Blake died.
I would say like 40.
40 maybe, yeah.
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 I'd say somewhere there.
What do you think about that? That they didn't, since it's a war movie, it's easily that they just throw in some
Yeah,
gunfires.
It's not about the fight. It's about
Exactly.
It's about
the
that
tension.
story, yeah.
It's just getting there. It's the
Definitely.
Just thought of any time you can be shot at. Hence, when he was jumping over the bridge and he just like, pang, just pang.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So sorry.
So sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So.
But that was pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. There's nothing you have.
What would you give it? 3 to 5.
So I want to rewatch it.
Okay.
Not because I want to see details I missed. Most because it was just so... I could be relaxed watching it. I could be like, watching like this. Even though I wanted to look at all the details, I could look at this movie just, chill. Just being there in the moment. Just thinking I'm the third soldier next to them. Or like I am in Schofield's shoes or something like that. But, I don't know. It's not really up there, but it's pretty up there. And I would say 4.
Okay.
4, I would say. Because it was like an experience.
Yeah, it's...
Damn.
The movie is super cool. It's... As interested in film. And I would call us filmmakers, because we are.
Yeah.
We are filmmakers. It's something to be proud of. We always are trying to make films.
Yes.
It's something we practice. As a filmmaker, it's really cool to see films standing out of the bunch. And like this specifically being a war movie, it's extra, wow that they did something like this. But that said, I don't want to see the movie. I can't, not for a while. I don't want to watch it right now.
I'm not really the person to jump on a movie right after I watch it.
Like,
if it's not, I want to
break down.
I want to break down a certain scene.
Exactly.
Or something,
yeah. Like Parasite, I really want to see it again. Like this week.
I'm definitely gonna buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna buy the fucking collector's edition. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
It costs like $50. It's not much, but I'm gonna buy it. It has like extra stuff.
You got power of flavor.
Woo! No, I actually have been spending too much. I think I spent like too much this month.
You're moving also. So.
It's crazy.
But the point.
The point.
What's the point?
I would say 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
It was cool. I liked it. Cool to watch. I wasn't like really super engaged in the first half before his death.
Okay.
I thought there was like... I don't like the idea of a one-take film. Like, just because it doesn't feel as entertaining as if you could. I understand that it gives to the story.
Yes.
But I love Dunkirk. And I think that Dunkirk is like... Because Dunkirk, even if it's about the fight... It's also not about the fight, you know what I mean? It follows this one person,
Which is why also that I'm not really super excited about Birdman, yeah. Even though I heard it's just an amazing movie and everything, good actors.
Like after a while, it gets a bit boring. Like not boring,
unless
but
you're super into it, which I got with this movie. I got into the story. I got into Schofield. I really wanted to just see this soldier's journey, like one soldier in this big war. And even though he just went through a trench, because when you read about history, you think like, oh, the British had so many trenches, no, and the war took span of like 3 different countries, like no, super big. Just the trench felt so big, and just like how small this little world view of this war for one soldier was just so amazing, which is why I love this movie. Like, just the perspective of these soldiers.
Yeah.
Instead of just riding a tank across Poland, like, oh, let's get this nasty boss.
Yeah, you haven't seen none of... What What?
I'm thinking about like Inglourious Bastard or something.
Have you seen Inglourious Bastard?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I have it up there.
Okay, nice. Good. I just wanted to make sure.
I've seen 2 movies you mentioned.
Ooh, goddamn right you did. Wow. Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I love this episode. We had a lot to discuss.
Yes.
And we like when we have something that like between like a conflict, a mini conflict, and somehow it becomes like a better discussion.
I think and also we realize when we talk
So
to
much,
each other.
like the
Like
character
the rats
arc.
could be CGI.
Yeah, wow.
They did not
like
train actual
the
rats.
character arcs of both characters.
Yeah.
Like that was not something I thought about before this.
I
This
feel
is
like
something
we're
that-
getting better
yeah,
at
we're-
these discussions.
Yeah, man.
It's not like the first episode. So I looked
Hello?
at this movie and realized this. Yeah, I think so too.
I think
And
it
I
was
found
very
this.
good.
Yeah, same too. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. It has been Karim and
Viktor.
bye.